All right, let's get into this one because wow, we are looking at one of the weirdest lawsuits you're probably ever going to come across. It's a case that links a totally normal business in Florida to this massive international crime that happened thousands of miles away. So, it all kicks off with this document right here. It's a civil complaint filed in Miami-Dade County, and the company suing ISS Aviation says its neighbor, a guy named Kamraj Lal, completely destroyed their business. But here's the kicker. The hangars at the heart of all this, they weren't in Florida. They weren't even in the same hemisphere. They were all the way down in the country of Guyana. Which, of course, leads us to the big question that just hangs over this entire story. How in the world can your neighbor, from an entire ocean away, be the reason your business gets shut down? Well, the answer is a whole lot crazier than you might think. To really get what happened, first, we have to pull back the curtain on the defendant. Because, this was not your typical dispute over a fence line. This was something else entirely. And here is where it all clicks. On the left, you've got that civil lawsuit we were just talking about, but on the right, that's a federal criminal indictment. And smack dab in the middle of both of them, the same man, Kamraj Lal. So who is this guy, really? Well, he wasn't just some pilot with a neighboring business. Oh no. According to the United States government, he was a convicted international drug kingpin running a gigantic smuggling operation. And I mean, just look at the charges the feds brought against him. This wasn't small-time stuff. We're talking conspiracy to import and distribute massive amounts of cocaine from Guyana, money laundering, the whole shebang. He was running a full-blown criminal enterprise. So the question is, how does a totally separate company, ISS Aviation, get sucked in to the takedown of an international drug lord? Well, it turns out they were just in the wrong place at the very, very wrong time. This timeline really shows you the domino effect. It's wild. In 2017, the U.S. government indicts Lal and starts seizing all his stuff. But in the chaos that follows, officials back in Guyana don't just take Lal's hangar. They seize his neighbor's hangar, too. They literally locked ISS Aviation out of its own property for years. And you can just feel the frustration in their own words. This quote is straight from their lawsuit. They're basically screaming, "Hey, we were just innocent bystanders here. We had no idea what was happening next door, and now our business is destroyed because of it." But just when you think it can't get any stranger, the story takes another legal twist. Lal's defense team didn't even try to argue about the damages. Nope. Instead, they argued that ISS Aviation had sued him in the wrong country. They brought up this legal idea called forum non-convenience. Now, think of it like this. It's like trying to argue about a hockey penalty in a basketball court. The judge can basically just say, look, this isn't the right place for this fight. You need to take this to the court that actually has home field advantage, which in this case would be where all the action happened. So the whole case boiled down to this tug of war over location. ISF Aviation said, no, this belongs in Florida. Our business is here. We lost our money here. But Law's defense fired back. Are you kidding? The hangar is in Guyana. The airport officials are in Guyana. All the evidence is in Guyana. Everything happened there. So both sides made their arguments, and the Florida judge had to make a call. Where on earth does a bizarre case like this truly belong? And this quote from the judge's decision, it tells you everything. He basically said that since the case involved accusations against Guyanese airport officials, Guyana itself had the biggest stake in hearing the case. They had a vested interest in dealing with any potential corruption on their own turf. And with that single signature right there, it was over. On March 22, 2022, the case was dismissed. For ISS Aviation, the fight in a Florida courtroom was officially done. So, what does all this mean for the company that was, by all accounts, just an innocent bystander caught in the fallout of a massive criminal takedown? Well, the bottom line is this. The judge didn't say ISS Aviation couldn't sue. He just said they couldn't sue in Florida. Their road to getting justice wasn't totally blocked, but it got rerouted to a courthouse in a different country, an ocean away. It's a tough lesson that sometimes your legal rights are tied to a map, and finding justice might actually require a passport. And that really leaves us with the heart of this whole thing. This case shows us that being the innocent victim isn't always enough to get your day in your own local court. It really makes you ask, when you're just collateral damage in some huge international crime, how far do you actually have to go to find justice?